What if the reason your team missed their big target last quarter had like absolutely nothing to do with your software or your budget or your processes? I mean, what if those perfect spreadsheets and top-tier tools are actually hiding the real reason teams stumble and fail?
It's a huge question.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's one of the most universally frustrating workplace mysteries for you as a leader. You picture a team that is highly equipped, lavishly funded, operating on flawless procedures.
Yeah.
On paper, they just cannot lose, and yet they completely miss the mark.
It is entirely baffling when you evaluate it purely from a logistical standpoint. I mean, you look at the metrics, you look at the resources, and the math works perfect.
Exactly.
So the immediate question you have to ask is, well, why isn't the team working?
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today. The mission for this deep dive is to explore a brilliant leadership framework from a script by Mark McCatty. He's a leadership and team advisor.
And a really insightful one, too.
Yeah, absolutely. He has developed a lens for looking at the workplace that just cuts straight through the usual corporate noise. We are going to uncover the hidden dynamics that truly dictate whether a team succeeds or fails.
Because it's rarely what we think it is.
Right. And honestly, this framework has the potential to completely rewire how you look at your own daily operations.
So we're going to be analyzing McCatty's technical social model of the workplace. What makes this source material so compelling to me is how it strips away the buzzwords,
Oh, for sure. No corporate jargon.
Exactly. It ignores the management fads and reveals the raw, fundamental machinery of how groups of human beings actually function when they're brought together to execute a job.
But before we jump into the mechanics of that model, I feel like we have to establish the baseline first, right?
Yeah, we definitely need to set the stage.
Like, what is the team actually trying to accomplish on a daily basis? McCatty outlines the ultimate goals that every single organization, every shift, every crew is fundamentally working toward.
He provides a very clear foundational list. And this applies no matter what industry you are operating in.
Right.
Your team is working toward goals in these 5 specific areas: productivity, safety, quality, customer satisfaction, and profit.
Okay, wait, let me just jump in there. Because if you're in a nonprofit or the public sector, that last one, profit, doesn't really apply in the traditional sense.
Good catch.
Okay.
Yeah, in those sectors, profit just translates to managing a budget effectively.
Ah, okay. That makes total sense.
But that is the universal baseline. We are all trying to hit targets in productivity, safety, quality, customer satisfaction, and the bottom line.
Every single day. And to achieve those 5 goals, McCatty notes that a team operates within only 2 environments. Just 2.
Which simplifies things so much.
It really does. And these environments, they kind of act as currents. They can either propel you forward toward those goals, or they can create massive drag and pull you under.
Yeah.
Let's look at the first environment. It's the one we all instinctively focus on.
McCatty calls this the technical environment, and his definition is beautifully straightforward.
What is it?
Well, the technical environment is entirely made up of the tangible elements of the work.
So like the stuff.
Exactly, the stuff. We are talking about the equipment, the materials, the tools, the supplies, and the standard operating processes.
So it's basically the physical reality of the job.
Right.
If you're managing a manufacturing plant, it's the raw materials and the conveyor belts. But if you're running, say, a marketing agency, it's the laptops, the design software, the project management apps, and, the office Wi-Fi.
Spot on. And because it is so tangible, the line from cause to effect is highly visible.
Right. It's easy to see.
Extremely easy. If there is a problem in this technical environment, it has an immediate, undeniable impact on those 5 overarching goals we talked about.
Like a vital piece of machinery breaking down on the line.
Exactly. If that happens, you instantly miss your productivity mark for the day. Or let's say a hand tool is frayed or faulty.
Then you have a potential accident waiting to happen.
Which absolutely tanks your safety goal. Or if subpar raw materials arrive from a vendor, your quality drops.
It's all just incredibly logical, which explains why organizations pour like an overwhelming amount of effort and time and money into perfecting this space.
Oh, a massive amount.
Because leaders want to guarantee that their team has exactly what they need, exactly where they need it. It actually makes me think of an analogy.
Oh, let's hear it.
It's like opening a bakery.
Okay.
You spend all your time obsessing over buying the most state-of-the-art computerized oven on the market. You import the absolute highest grade flour. You invest in top-tier stand mixers.
Right, you focus heavily on the gear.
Because leaders focus on this technical environment since it's safe, It's controllable. You can literally just buy a better oven. You can measure its exact temperature output.
It gives a leader the illusion of total control.
Yes, because spending money and checking boxes feels like you're actively solving the problem.
You can point to the shiny new oven and say, look at this capital investment. I have fixed the bakery.
I have done my job as a leader.
Exactly. But this leads us to the core insight from McCarty, and honestly, it is a massive paradigm shift.
Okay, lay it on me.
Despite all the time, the budget, and the endless effort poured into perfecting that technical environment, he argues that technical problems are rarely the actual reason a team fails to meet its goals.
Wait, hold on. I struggle to accept that at face value.
A lot of people do at first.
I mean, if my shiny new oven literally breaks down and won't turn on, the cake does not get baked.
Right?
The customer doesn't get their order, so the goal is missed. How is that not a fundamental technical failure?
Well, because you have to conduct a root cause analysis and ask why the oven broke down in the first place.
Okay.
Was it a completely random, unpredictable mechanical failure?
Sure, that happens.
It does, but more often than not, did the closing shift fail to perform the routine cleaning protocol because they were in a heated argument with their manager and just walked out?
Wow.
Or did an operator ignore the warning light because they felt rushed and overworked to hit an unrealistic quota?
I see where you're going with this.
Or did two department heads fail to communicate about whose budget the maintenance fell under? The physical breakdown of the machine is often just the final visible symptom of a much deeper invisible failure.
Okay, that completely reframes it. The broken gear is the end of the story, not the beginning.
Exactly.
So if the tools and the tangible elements aren't the root cause of these missed goals, what is the actual force dragging the team down?
That brings us to the second half of McCarty's model, the social environment.
Ah, the plot thickens.
If the technical environment is about the tangible elements, the social environment is entirely about the human element.
So this is all about people and their interactions.
Precisely. It encompasses everything happening between the individuals on the floor. It's listening, speaking, leading, and following.
All the messy human stuff.
Yeah, the messy stuff. It dictates how a team collaboratively deals with problems and, most crucially, how they manage conflict with one another.
McCarty actually issues a direct challenge in the text regarding this.
He does.
He asks you, the listener, to genuinely think about the times your specific shift or crew or department missed a major goal. When you really dissect those failures, he wagers that more often than not, the root cause wasn't a technical glitch.
No, it was a social breakdown.
It was a social breakdown.
And when you apply that lens to your own workplace memory, the symptoms of social failure become glaringly obvious.
What do those symptoms actually look like in practice?
Well, McCarty lists how this environment breaks down. It manifests as a complete lack of collaboration between silos.
Oh, turf wars.
Yeah, turf wars. It looks like poor problem solving where everyone just waits for someone else to take the initiative.
Right, passing the buck.
Or it develops into a toxic culture where there is significantly more energy spent on blaming others than on actually doing the work. Or, it can just be a pervasive undercurrent of bad attitudes dragging down morale.
General bad attitudes, which, sounds so unscientific compared to a server crashing or a supply chain delay.
It does sound less concrete.
But it is infinitely more insidious. The toxic culture is what allows the server to crash because nobody wanted to warn the IT director they were angry with.
That is the exact mechanism.
So if the blaming, the poor communication, and the bad attitudes are the true culprits destroying our productivity and safety goals, why do leaders spend so little time fixing them?
It's a great question.
Like, why are they constantly retreating to their offices to fiddle with the budget for a new oven?
Because retreating to the spreadsheet is emotionally safe.
Wow. Emotionally safe.
Yeah, McCarty highlights a deeply uncomfortable truth about leadership here. The social environment is inherently unpleasant to manage.
I can see that.
He makes a really brilliant distinction. Managing the social environment is not necessarily difficult in a technical sense.
Right, you don't need a PhD for it.
Exactly. You don't need a degree in advanced calculus to pull someone aside and tell them they need to stop undermining their teammates.
But it is uncomfortable.
It is highly, profoundly uncomfortable.
Because a purchase order doesn't yell at you. Writing a check for a software upgrade doesn't require you to look someone in the eye and address their abrasive behavior. Having a conversation about a team member's tendency to throw their coworkers under the bus requires confronting messy, unpredictable human emotion.
And human beings, and leaders are certainly no exception, are wired to avoid that kind of interpersonal discomfort whenever possible.
We really are.
We will happily spend $50,000 on a new project management tool rather than sit down in a room with two feuding team members and mediate a toxic conflict.
That is so true, it hurts.
But McCaddy's point is that if you want to actually achieve those 5 universal goals, this insight dictates exactly where a leader must live. If the social environment is the origin point of failure, leadership has to step into that discomfort.
Okay, so that overarching perspective is incredibly clarifying for a leader diagnosing their team. But it kind of leaves a massive practical gap for me.
How so?
Well, diagnosing the social environment is one thing, but how do you actually fix it on the ground? Like, if I'm managing a team tomorrow, I can't just mandate a quote-unquote better social environment.
No, you definitely can't just order people to get along better.
Right. So how do we equip the individuals to actually survive and thrive in these two environments?
Well, to solve the environment, you have to fix the individual.
Okay.
McCaddy breaks down the specific individual requirements into a 3-legged stool of skill sets.
A 3-legged stool.
Yeah, and the first 2 legs map directly onto the environments we just analyzed. So the first leg is technical skills.
Which is pretty straightforward. I mean, technical skills are an individual's ability to operate the equipment, utilize the materials, handle the supplies, and execute the standard processes effectively.
Right.
It's just knowing how to manipulate the tangible elements of the job.
Exactly. So then the second leg of the stool is social skills. This is the individual's capacity to interact productively with others. It means actively utilizing teamwork, communicating clearly without hidden agendas, and showing initiative within the group dynamic to solve problems collaboratively.
And a crucial point from the text here is that developing these social skills is a fundamental duty of the leader.
Oh, absolutely.
A leader cannot just cross their fingers and hope people inherently possess good social skills. They have to maintain active alertness to where people are lacking.
Because if an employee is incredibly technically gifted, but refuses to share information with their peers,
Demonstrating a total lack of teamwork.
exactly, demonstrating a lack of teamwork, the leader has to actively step in and build up that social skill. You train people on the machines, but you also have to train them on how to interact.
Which makes total sense.
Yeah.
But then that leads directly into the third skill set. And this is the missing link that often catches organizations completely off guard.
It really is the game changer.
You have your technical skills, you have your social skills, and the third requirement is business skills.
Yep, business skills.
And this was a massive aha moment for me when reviewing McCaddy's framework. Because when you hear business skills, the immediate assumption is that every single person on the factory floor or in the IT department needs to go get an MBA.
Right, or learn how to read a profit and loss statement.
Exactly. But he defines it in a completely different, highly practical way.
He does. He defines business skills purely as the ability to make the right value judgments in the moment.
Value judgments.
Okay.
Explain the mechanism of how that actually works on a Tuesday afternoon for an average worker.
Sure. So every single day, workers are confronted with micro decisions where 2 inherently good things are in direct conflict with each other.
2 good things competing.
Right. McCaddy lays out some classic examples. Let's say an operator on the floor has to decide, in this specific hour, under this specific deadline, is it more important for me to be highly productive, or is it more important for me to be flawlessly safe?
Oh, I see.
Or, a developer has to decide, is it more important to produce a piece of software with pristine quality, or is it more important to push out a large quantity of code to meet a launch date?
Wait, this connects directly back to those universal goals we established at the very beginning.
It absolutely does.
Productivity, safety, quality, customer satisfaction, and profit. They're all goals, but they constantly compete with each other.
They are in constant tension.
Right, like if I speed up my machine to hit the daily productivity quota, I might actually be compromising the safety protocol.
Or increasing the defect rate.
Which totally destroys the quality goal.
Exactly. So the ability to weigh those competing goals and make the correct choice that aligns with the organization's current priorities, that is a business skill.
That makes so much sense.
It's an employee understanding the broader context of the business, not just the isolated function of their machine.
And McCaddy outlines a fascinating scenario regarding this, which I think perfectly illustrates how this breaks down in reality. Let's call it the hard worker trap.
Oh, this is a great example.
Right. So picture a team member on your shift. They are sweating. They are putting in a massive amount of physical or mental effort. They volunteer for overtime. They are churning out astronomical quantities of product.
They look like the perfect employee.
Exactly. In their own mind, they are the single most valuable employee on the floor.
Because their technical output is through the roof, so they just assume they're excelling.
But the reality is, to achieve that massive quantity, they are bypassing quality assurance checks. The product they are churning out has a really high defect rate.
Or perhaps they have disabled a safety guard on their equipment to shave a few seconds off their cycle time.
Yes, they are working incredibly hard, but they are doing it in a way that is fundamentally unsafe or produces subpar quality.
And how does a traditional leader usually react to that?
Oh, they probably misdiagnose it completely.
They do. They look at the high output, they see the defects, and they misdiagnose the root cause. The leader assumes the employee just needs more technical training on the quality specifications.
So they send them to a workshop on machine calibration or something.
Exactly. But McCaddy points out that what you are witnessing is not a lack of technical skill. It is a severe lack of business skills.
Because the employee is making the completely wrong value judgment.
They possess the technical skill to operate the machinery at lightning speed. They might even possess the social skill to be beloved by their peers in the break room.
Sure.
But because they lack the business skill to recognize that the company currently prioritizes safety and quality over raw quantity, their hard work is actively damaging the ultimate goals.
They are literally running full speed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, exactly.
It just perfectly synthesizes the entire model.
Yeah.
You can hire a worker who knows the software inside and out. Massive technical skill.
Yep.
They can be incredibly collaborative and emotionally intelligent. Massive social skill.
Right.
But without that third leg of the stool, without the business skill to prioritize competing goals correctly when the pressure is on, the team still fails.
Which really elevates the role of a leader significantly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Providing top-tier equipment is actually the easy part. The real work of leadership is ensuring that the organization's priorities are not just listed on a poster in the hallway, but are deeply understood and supported by everyone making those micro-decisions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You are trying to build a team that is technically proficient, socially adept, and possesses the business acumen to say yes to the right priorities at the right time.
Okay, so what does a team actually look like when all of this clicks into place?
Use that genuine engagement means your followers, your team members, have all three of these skill sets, technical, social, and business, operating in complete harmony.
So they know exactly how to execute the work, they know how to interact with each other without toxic friction, and they possess the value judgment to know why the work matters and what to prioritize when things get complicated.
Beautifully said. When you cultivate a workforce that is engaged on all three of those levels, that is when a team becomes truly resilient.
Wow.
That is when the target goals are consistently met. It strips away the illusion that success is just about having the best tools or the biggest budget. It is entirely about having the complete human capacity to use those tools effectively, cooperatively, and strategically.
It is such a clarifying way to view the daily chaos of any operation. I mean, we spend so much of our careers chasing technical ghosts.
We really do.
We constantly try to optimize the tangible elements, the software, the supply chain, the office layout, when the real structural breakdowns are happening in the invisible spaces between people.
Yes.
The failures live in the social environment and in the misaligned value judgments happening 100 times a day.
And once you adopt this framework, your diagnostic process permanently changes.
How so?
Well, the next time a major goal is missed, your immediate reflex won't be to ask, well, what piece of equipment broke? You will start asking, who stopped communicating? Or what business priority was misunderstood on the floor?
Which leaves us with a rather profound challenge. As we wrap up this deep dive into Mark McCaddy's framework, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Something to critically examine the next time you are sitting in a strategy meeting or just trying to figure out why your own team stumbled.
It's a tough question, but a necessary one.
Right. If the social environment is truly the most common reason we fail, but the technical environment is the most emotionally comfortable place for us to spend our time and our budgets, how much of our own potential and our team's potential is being actively wasted simply because we would rather buy a new piece of software than have an uncomfortable conversation with a colleague?
That is a question that requires some very honest and likely uncomfortable self-reflection from anyone in a position of influence.
It absolutely does. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the hidden dynamics of team failure and success. We will catch you next time.